What does it mean to chase rare moments and keep showing up even when conditions don't line up perfectly? Welcome back to I Love Your Stories. I'm your host, Hava Gurevich, and today I'm joined by photographer Jeff Pfaller, whose work centers on rare dark sky phenomena like northern lights, eclipses, comets, and other fleeting natural events. Our conversation explores expectation and uncertainty, how much can go wrong when you're photographing rare events, and how to handle those moments creatively and practically. Jeff shares his journey from a career in advertising to photographing the hidden world revealed through long exposures and patience. We talk about what first drew him in, the early imperfect images that changed everything, and why he's less interested in technical perfection than in capturing the feeling of being there. Jeff, welcome to the podcast. Now, quick word from our sponsor, and then we'll get right back to the show. When I started selling my art, I had absolutely no idea how to actually turn it into a business, a professional business. And then I came across art storefronts, and that was a game changer. I've been a customer now for years, and they've been instrumental every step of the way of helping me succeed. I have a gorgeous, powerful commerce website. I have marketing tools and a membership to a community that is very supportive and teaches me how to succeed as an artist. Check them out, artstorefronts.com, and tell them Hala sent you. Welcome back to I Love Your Stories. My guest today is Jeff Pfaller, who is a photographer, and I actually don't know a whole lot about you, so I'm gonna let you tell us a little bit about yourself, and kind of what got you into photography, what kind of photography you do.
Yeah, sure. Sounds great. Thank you for having me. So I'm Jeff. The past 4 or 5 years, I've been focusing specifically on dark sky photography or astrophotography. Taking pictures of the stars, the moon, aurora, northern lights, those kinds of things. While I've been doing that, I also got attracted to rare dark sky phenomena. So a lot of it happens at night. So think comets, meteors, those kinds of things. But there's also even rarer events, like a waterfall that looks like it's catching fire in Yosemite, rainbows caused by moonlight, red sprites. Like there's all this like insane stuff that happens in the dark.
So let me ask a
Uh,
question before you get too far into it.
yeah, sure.
Can you, like, I only heard about the term dark sky as a term, very recently, and, I'm just wondering if you could kinda talk a little bit about what that is and what it is that how it applies to what you do
Sure.
is,
Yeah, I think the official designation for dark skies is stuff that happens at night, basically. So there's an organization called Dark Sky International. They certify things so that it is an official thing that exists out in the world, a term for how dark a place gets. For me, it's basically anything that happens when there's not sunlight. So that could be weather, storms,
Mhm.
things that happen after sunset and sunrise. Like, yes, the nighttime for sure, but I've broadened it a little bit.
So, would it be fair to say, like, I'm thinking about the actual term photography, which is photo light, drawing with light,
Right.
and, traditionally sunlight or artificial light. In your case, you are drawing with lights that are night sky lights. Is that like the moon, the stars,
Yeah.
things like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's still using light, same kind of concept. In some case, it's sunlight because the sun reflects off the moon.
Mhm.
And that, yeah, when you're doing nighttime photography, that can actually light up quite a bit of the landscape. But other than that, yeah, it's very fragile light. If you live in a city and you look up, you can't see the stars. If anybody spent time chasing the northern lights, it can get ruined by a lot of different things. And I think the interesting thing about photography, for me anyway, for dark sky photography, is the human eye. One of the first things to leave us as we age. We're not great at seeing at night. We're not great at seeing color at night, but all that stuff still exists.
Yes.
And because the camera can stay open for longer and see more light, it reveals this hidden world that almost exists beyond our
I love
perception.
that.
And yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, when you take a picture and you see it show up on your viewfinder because you can see it immediately,
Yeah.
it's really exciting.
What got you into that type of photography? Or actually, let's go back a little bit. Do you wanna just a little bit about maybe what you studied, how you got into photography?
Yeah, sure. So I started off completely non-visual.
Mhm.
Grew up wanted to be a writer. Novels, screenplays, that kind of thing. And pretty early on, I kind of saw it like that's really competitive and it's hard to do, or to have financial success anyway. So I kind of pivoted a little bit to be a an advertising copywriter. So still using stories and words, but to help people sell products, build brands, that kind of thing. But was always working with a visual person. So not that I didn't have an appreciation for it, but getting to see their process and how they looked at the world and like how they thought through things. Yeah, it made the writing that much more impactful, I felt like, and gave me, kind of a lot of insight into the other side of the process and kind of got the part of my brain that I wasn't using going. Um, but it was always, I guess, story based, right? Like you're
Mhm.
trying to sell stories about products and stories about brands. And then from a photo perspective, I always loved travel, and photography was a way to try and um, capture the memories, capture what it felt like to be there. And for the longest time, whenever I would come back from a trip, I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this. Like the photos didn't feel like how it felt to be there.
Yes.
It's like, oh, this is not doing it justice at all. This isn't what it was like, that kind of thing. Um, so when I got serious about photography, like to me, that was the shift is trying to focus on how can I capture what it feels like to be there,
Mhm.
as opposed to taking a technically good photo or just taking, standing in a place, taking a picture, not thinking about it, and then trusting afterwards that I'm gonna like it. If that makes sense.
Do you have, like, a story that's kind of like a pivotal story, like the moment that you took your first, like, nighttime night sky, dark sky, where you're like, "Wow, this is what I wanna pursue?"
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of two moments, maybe. So the first moment is when I took my first picture of the Milky Way, and like it was blurry. Like it wasn't a good, like technically not a good picture, right? Like out of focus. The composition wasn't great, but like I kind of alluded to before, you know, the galactic center of the Milky Way, you can't really see it with your eyes unless it's super, super dark. And even then, y you can't get a sense of the depth and the contrast.
Mhm.
And even on the viewfinder in the raw camera file, it just jumped out, and I was, shocked at, like, this thing existed outside my perception. So after that, I was definitely hooked. But probably the moment where, I really, like, doubled down on it and started going after the dark sky photography specifically was when I went to Yosemite. I'd done like 14 trips, or sorry, 14 parks in 14 days. It was a road trip during the pandemic. I was laid off and I was like, I'm going to make the most of it. And for that, I thought dark sky photography was just the stars and the moon. And in this park at this time, or, second half of February, so a particular time of the year, at sunset, there's a specific waterfall where the angle of the sun lines up just right. It shines only through the water at sunset, and it literally looks like lava is pouring off the mountain in a waterfall. And the first time I saw it probably ruined every other time I saw it because clouds were covering the sun for 15 minutes and then the clouds went away and it went from nothing to everything in an instant. It was like somebody threw a match into the waterfall and it was made of gas. And everybody in the park started cheering like they were at a Beatles concert or something. And that was really, I mean, that's core memory type territory. So I've been back to Yosemite 18 times since.
Wow.
Yeah, it's can't get enough.
Oh, that's amazing. I think, something that you said earlier that really resonated with me, this idea of the, like, reality that exists just beyond our perception, but it's here, and because we see such a small
Yeah.
fragment of it, to hear such a small fragment of it, feel such a small fragment of it. Um, and so would it be fair to say that to some extent you really when you say that what you wanna capture, not just kind of like what you see, but sort of how it feels,
Hmm. Yeah.
and this idea of like I mean, it almost sounds like this search for a greater meaning of
Yeah.
what's here,
Yeah.
um, you know
Yeah. You go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, no. Oh my
Perfect.
god.
Yeah, no, I think it's feeling, I mean, especially with things like the universe and other planet, like it's a way to tap into feeling like you're part of something bigger than yourself.
Mhm,
And it's also kind of primal to who we are as humans, right?
mhm,
Like there's not a culture on the face of the planet that doesn't have a legend about the constellations, and the moon is like a godlike status. Even how we spread throughout the world, like we would not be as successful as a species without the stars because we use them to literally find our way in the dark when we're crossing the ocean. It's how like people bonded with each other when they came back to the village after hunting and foraging all day. So it's a kind of a core part of who we are as a species. So I see it as a way to tap into that. I think like your point about trying to capture like a feeling.
mhm.
I mean, like with your work, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, but it seems like your
Yeah.
work, like you wouldn't call it photorealistic,
No.
right?
As far
But
away from that as possible. Yeah, it's
yeah,
how it's yeah, exactly, yeah. What you know, thinking about that, like, there's the travel part, and I'm pretty sure that you have, professional equipment, so it's not just like an iPhone in your pocket. Um, what would you say are the biggest challenges, in pursuing the kind of photography that you do, the kind of images that you take?
yeah, sure. I'm pretty anti-gear actually.
Oh,
But iPhones take great dark sky pictures. So if anybody's listening and they're like, I can't go take pictures of the stars and the lights, like an iPhone is actually a really, really great tool. But you know, that said, you know, if you want to get star trails or images of the moon, like there is specialized stuff that you need to get. But honestly, I think the biggest challenge is yeah, because the subject matter that I've chosen is rare, right? Like comets come through once every 60,000 years. So it's like if you miss it, like that's it. Um, eclipses, the same thing. You know, you're pointing your camera at the brightest object possible in the sky, and then in a second it switches to nighttime photography, and you've got to take off all your filters and change everything. And then you've got like a minute, 2 minutes maybe. And then you got to put it all back on. So like those aspects of it are challenging for me anyway, because you know, these are infrequent events. They're not usual. It's not like you can practice on something without doing the actual thing. Um, but then also there's so many, because it's nature, there's so many things that can get in the way. Like the waterfall that I mentioned, if it's too windy, like sorry, there's no water there, so you don't get the same effect. If it's cloudy, like oops, like you need sunlight to make this happen. So that gets in the way a lot. And over the years, I feel like I've really tried to learn how to, you know, the perfect conditions are never going to exist, right? And the probably the most interesting picture is the one that I didn't plan on, and the one with the challenging conditions where it's like foggy and moody and cloudy and all those kinds of things. So just being more open to those kinds of experiences, and you know, if the shot I came to get isn't there, like taking what the world gives me and finding either beauty or small moments or whatever you want to call it in the things that I didn't expect, if that makes sense.
it makes perfect sense. It sounds like, um, basically a formula for having a happy life in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Right.
like, when you were saying you're, like, talking about a comet that comes every, what, 60,000 or
60,000.
600
Yeah.
yeah, or, an eclipse and some other phenomenon that are, like, very rare, and you have, like, 1 chance to get them and 10 things that can go wrong. Um, it made me think of like storm chasers in a way. Um, there's this sense of trying to catch a fairy. It's like,
Mm. Yeah.
and um, and that sense of maybe exhilaration of like when it happens. Do you? I'm assuming these are fairly long exposures. Um, but do you like in the moment? Do you know like this is the one?
Mm. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, a lot of it is long exposure. I mean, things like firefall and the other things that happen at sunrise and sunset. Those are not because there's enough light, but everything else is long exposure. I think you can kind of tell when you look at the viewfinder. I guess like, are you able to see what you're even shooting? Because a lot of times you can't see with your eyes, so there's a check there. Um, but I think it's also go to these places when there's light out, so you can see where the leading line's at, where's the interesting foreground. There's plenty of apps that you can use
Mhm.
where you can say, okay, if I came back here at 1:30 a.m., where's the Milky
Oh,
Way going to be? And
yeah.
it's like, oh, there's a road that's going straight that way, and if I come back here at 3:30 a.m., the Milky Way will be going straight up from that. So you can help yourself out for sure by doing a little bit of planning um, ahead of time. So usually I feel like I said, kind of split into two moments. I feel like there's the potential during the day when I'm looking and seeing like, oh, this can be really special because the
Mm.
moon is gonna, come up behind this chapel or something like that. And if I can capture that, it'll be really good. And then the nighttime, it's really more about the technical execution of it. Like, am I able to properly expose the shot? A lot of times you're dealing with extreme differences in brightness and darkness. And if you can get that, then that's also a moment where you kind of know, like, oh, I got the moon properly exposed. I can see the craters, but I also used the light or light painted or whatever the technique was, and I can see the foreground too. And I know if I put those two things together, it'll be really nice.
Is doing photography your like full-time job? You know, do you have another job or is photography the only thing that you're doing? And if so, how are you doing that?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I've got a full-time job. I work at a company called Mozilla. It's remote. They make the browser Firefox. I'm not secretive about that at all.
No, because
Um,
it's right there next to you.
yeah, right. It's right behind me. Um,
What do you do?
yeah, I'm a UX writer for them. So it's still tapping into that storytelling aspect that I
Oh.
talked about earlier, like continuing to write for them. And that's nice because they were fully remote pre-pandemic. So a lot of the infrastructure and ways of working that come with remote work, like it's native to them. It's
Mhm.
something that they're very used to. So it's very easy to, and specifically because I've picked nighttime photography, work the 9 to 5 during the day when there's light out. Then I've got a few hours to like go around and see things while there's still light out. And then if I'm willing to go without sleep, I can stay out as late as I want.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that flexibility has kind of made this possible. Some of the infrastructure in the parks has also made it possible. Like I've taken calls from some of the places I've been shooting and made everybody on the call jealous.
I bet.
Yeah, but it's a balancing act, right? Like
Um,
I still need the full time job and the photography. It's definitely more than a hobby, but it's not.
so you do sell your photography, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's all a lot of it's online, in terms of like wall art and prints. And then there's a few other, calendars, books, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then also do guided trips. So that's actually my favorite part about the photography is getting to help people see these things
Oh,
for
so you
themselves.
take them to, like, the park and at
Yeah.
night and
Yep. Yeah. And sometimes
oh,
it's photographers who like they're coming to try and learn about shooting at night and getting the shot. Sometimes it's people that know probably more about photography than I do, and they're just looking for access to these interesting locations and an understanding of the conditions. And then there's some people who just come with their iPhone and they're just there for the in-person experience,
yeah.
which
That would be me.
Yeah, yeah, right. Like I like that. Because even the photographers, I tell them like see it with your eyes first, like
Mm.
experience it, and take a moment, and don't get stuck behind the lens or worried about the shot that you're gonna get.
Do you have any stories about, like, interactions or conversations that you've had with other people who come that you bring to these places that maybe, changed or enhanced how you approach it?
Mm. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think like for my own, eating my own dog food, right? Like be in the moment, be in the experience, not worry about the photo. Like I say that, but I forget it all the time. I get stressed out about, oh, this is the photo I want. It's not turning out. The conditions are wrong. Like it's not like I don't feel those emotions or experience that. So that's continually a good reminder. Because, I'll have people come on the trip and, like I do this trip to see the synchronous fireflies and you're in the woods with tens of thousands of fireflies all around you. It's literal magic. And, I'm thinking about like, oh, no, I'm out of focus and now I need to fix that. And how do I do this and all these things? And then, there's just this, like one of the trips I had this like 70-year-old good old Southern boy from Tennessee, and he's giggling like a little kid because all the fireflies are like dancing around his feet and like blinking back and forth. And it's like, yeah, even if I come up with no photos, like this is like a miracle is happening around us right now. That's pretty incredible. So
Yeah.
that's the most valuable part for me
Yeah,
is
I
like
bet.
being reminded.
When you were telling the story about that first time seeing that lava waterfall
Yeah.
and how it felt and like the skies parted and suddenly it's there and everyone's cheering and it was your first time and you even said it like ruined it for all the other times.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're bringing people to a location and maybe you've been to that location before and but there's always going to be somebody that's experiencing that magic for the very first time. I think that's, like, one of the best things about teaching
Mhm.
in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
Uh,
I would agree with that 100%.
yeah. Yeah. So, what are you most passionate about right now?
Boy, right now, getting more sleep. I think like yeah, a lot of photographers already like they know the struggle with sleep because you're chasing like the good light is at sunset and sunrise. So you're always chasing that, right? And then now I've somehow managed to choose a thing in between that
Mm.
gives me even less sleep. So no, but I think in terms of like where interest lies, right now is the time of year where I'm usually like pausing a little bit and reflecting and thinking about what's next. So, I've got 3 kids, so that's obviously like a big focus right now because they're all in different stages of life and figuring out how to, best support them. We've got some family trips planned. Because they've seen some of this stuff. Like that's how also I justify it is like it becomes our family vacations to go see an eclipse, which thankfully they're into and don't complain too much about. So next year they're all coming to see the firefall, like the
Oh,
lava waterfall, and none of them have seen it before. So I'm really excited about um, you know, all
right.
the things that we're talking about with like teaching and experiencing things for the first time, like
Yeah.
being able to share that with my family.
It's like passing
Yeah, passing
passing
it on.
something generationally, yeah. You do art fairs,
Mhm.
is that correct? Um, so is that how did you start doing that? How did you learn about them, and how many do you do, and
So, there's an art fair in the town I grew up in, that I was always going to as a kid. But
Mm.
so I was aware of them. And then, before the photography, my most previous side hustle was a publishing company focused on Midwestern poets, writers. You're not publishing my own things, but publishing other people's work. So I was trying to make a decision about where I wanted to focus, and art fairs cropped up because that was the part of the publishing company that enjoyed the most. Like they have book fairs, very similar thing. Like all the publishers go, they set up tables and booths. People come up, you talk to them, talk about your work or the books. They talk about what they're interested in, and you kind of have this like in-person conversation. And I really like that. Like over the course of that journey, some of my best friends I met as a result of that. Like I've got several lifelong friends that I met at these book fairs. I was doing it with my best friend or one of my best friends from college. Like he and I were partnering together. So I just had a lot of positive memories about that process and the aspect of talking to people. And some of the other routes like social media and online, like I'm showing my age, like I don't really love social media. I don't think I'm good at it. So I didn't want to go that route. The gallery thing felt like really competitive. So yeah, I just picked art fairs because it's like, I know I like talking to people and being in person, and it feels like there's, you know, I'm in control of setting up my own thing and creating my own experience. So that was the route I was going to go. And yeah, I really enjoy the process. There's parts of it that I don't like, obviously, but I do about 10 a year usually.
So you enjoy being like in a booth with your art and having people come and like they probably ask a lot of questions.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people ask, surprisingly, like this is a question I wasn't really expecting to get a lot. They're like, "Oh, are you the photographer?"
Oh my
And which like that's a fair question. I think because, at other places, you go into a coffee shop or somewhere else, you might be talking to the owner, you might not.
Yeah. I always read it as they just don't know what to say. They want to engage,
Yeah.
but, I take it for granted, like, being an artist, all those years in grad school and then teaching and then working in galleries and museums, like, I talk art. Like, I see art, I understand art, I talk to artists. So, there's always, like, sometimes you have to ask for a point of entry, like, where's the door here? How do I enter? Um, but I'm never in a place where I don't even know how to react around art. But I think for a lot of people, it's a way in. Um,
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. Like it's a conversation starter. It's a way to open it. It is like kind of funny because like there's kind of really nowhere to go after
Mhm.
that. Like, yep,
Yeah.
yeah, I was there. It was me.
Yeah.
Um, so it's not necessarily like the most effective conversation starter, but like I said, because I think I like engaging with people. And I learned this like relatively early on is the more that you can get people talking about themselves, like the easier, like it takes that pressure off and it
Yeah.
makes it easier to get a conversation. And because I shoot national parks, nature, like a thing that I've learned is like the best conversations and the like most interesting people I've met, they've either been to the place in the photo or they really want to go there. So that is an easy, yeah, you tell me what your time in Yosemite
Yeah.
was like. Like you tell me your story about being out and seeing this thing.
Yeah.
Talk about that core memory that you made with your kids when you saw a bear outside your car.
I think that goes very nicely with what you said before about wanting to capture a feeling.
Yeah.
Because if your photograph, triggers a memory or a feeling in someone else, it's gonna be very different from your own, but the photograph did its job.
Yep. Right. Yeah, it
That's
reminds them of what they felt like to
Mhm.
be there. And luckily, I mean, a lot of people love nature and they have those kind of formative, meaningful experiences out in the wild. So, I think the art fairs is also like it's a really good lesson in failure as well. Because like I'm there for a reason. Like, yes, I love talking to people, but I would also love to sell
So
people, and have them hang some of the art on the wall or buy a calendar or buy a book or that kind of thing. And you know, I don't usually try and sell too hard when people come in the booth. Like if you're interested in something and I can tell, but if somebody's not like in a buying mood for who knows why, like there's an infinite number of reasons, which is
Mhm.
totally fine. Um, but I do ask for an email address so I can continue to communicate with them so that if things change and they're style does change, or they have the space open up, or they move to a new place, like I can
Yeah.
still be in the consideration set. The number the number of people who gush over it, like your work is amazing, it's so beautiful, I love this place, like you really captured it, like going on and on and on. And then to say, hey, like I'll raffle off this free piece of art. Like you don't have to pay anything for it in exchange for your email address. And they're like, no, no, thank you, I'm okay. Like it very quickly goes from like love it,
Yeah.
bucket list, like you're amazing, to like I'm not even willing to give you your email address. So it's a very good lesson in humility, in like
Yeah.
yeah, the ask is very small, and it's not enough to get over that hump. But again, like it's all they're looking for is that connection, right? Like
Mhm.
they're looking for that moment, that good feeling, and like if my art can photos can give that to them, and that's it. At the end of the day, I can still feel pretty good about that, right? Like it's not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination.
So that actually segues really well to a question I like to ask, which is, what is your definition of success and how has it changed over time?
Yep. Um, yeah. So again, maybe like the anti-gear question, maybe my answer is a little bit unexpected. I feel like I've already succeeded. I specifically intentionally tried to put myself in that mindset before I started selling anything. Um, I'm trying to focus on art that I get all the enjoyment, validation, good feeling, like whatever you want to call it. I want to get all of it out of making the thing.
Right.
Yeah. If I sell nothing, like that's completely
That's
okay.
yeah, that's actually usually when I speak with artists, that's the answer. Like the number one thing is just being able to do it and um selling is just the cherry on top.
Yeah, right. Well, selling, I mean, for me, selling enables me to do more
More.
of it, right? Because
Right.
I probably wouldn't have gone back to Yosemite 18 times if I wasn't bringing people who are kind of helping pay my own way. I mean, I would love to. It's not to say that I don't want to do it, but the economics of it are a little bit harder when you're not getting paid for it. But if you told me I could go there by myself tomorrow, like I would, and you're not going to sell anything from what you shoot there, or like you have to leave your camera at home and you can't photograph anything. Like, yeah, great. Would love to.
Love
That's
to go.
like, yeah,
Sign me
say
up.
less, say less.
Yeah. Um, has it changed over time? Like
Yeah. Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, especially when I was trying to do, because wrote short stories, screenplays, novels, that kind of thing. And it wasn't that, like, I was still writing what I wanted to write, right?
Mhm.
But uh, there was kind of baked into that, okay, I've written the thing, and now if it doesn't get published, like, that doesn't feel like success, right? Like the first couple, novels that I wrote, that, I mean, in all fairness, were not publishable. Like I don't when I look back on them now, I still don't have that feeling of like, oh, like I wrote a book. Like that's a huge accomplishment, right? Like not many people are able to do that. And like I made the thing, the manuscript is probably still sitting on an old computer somewhere. Um, but I think like once I moved away from like kind of leaving that behind and focusing more on making the thing that I want to make, like I think I started enjoying the process a lot more. So the last writing project I did was I wrote a Star Wars script. Like that's not how it works. It's never getting picked up by Lucasfilm. Like they would throw it in the garbage if I sent it to them for like that, like whether it was good or not, like just copyright
copyright.
reasons. Yeah, they would ditch it. But it was like I would love to write a Star Wars movie, so I'm just gonna do it, and I don't care that nobody makes it because like I'm taking it. Like my part of the process is making the script if they
Yeah.
were paying me for it, and then after that, it's kind of out of my hands anyway.
Yeah.
So I get all the fun part of it, and then because I didn't pin it to Lucasfilm seeing it, I was super happy about it.
Yeah.
But like if I had pinned it to it getting made, like I've already set myself up for failure. Like I
Exactly.
failed before I even started. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. That's very true. Um, so how can people find you,
Yeah.
both online and offline?
Right. you can go to jeffffaller.com. That's where I'm online. All the social media accounts and everything is there. And then in person, I am going to art fairs around Chicago, some in Michigan, the one in Lowell, Fallisburg. I go to that every year. So yeah, if you live in the Midwest and like going to art fairs, find me on social media. I announce my schedule and would be happy to see people in person.
Awesome. That was really wonderful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks again for tuning in. That's our episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please help us out by leaving a review, a comment, subscribing, sharing it with your friends. Every little bit helps, and I really appreciate it. And before we go, I want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor and producer, Art Storefronts. If you've been thinking about turning your art into a real business or just want to level up your online presence, now is honestly the best time, especially with the holiday selling season coming up in Q4. I can't stress this enough. Art Storefronts isn't just a website builder. They're a full-blown partner for your art business. They give you the tools, education, and marketing support to actually make sales, not just sit online and hope. And if you're unsure whether your art will sell, no worries. Just head to artstorefronts.com and sign up for a demo. They'll give you a free art review and a marketing assessment of your art to show you exactly what's possible. So go to artstorefronts.com, tell them Hava sent you, and I'll catch you on the next episode.